Because of the creative.
Oh, is it my turn now?
What's going on, everybody? It's your man, Winston Ward.
And your girl, Ashley, is here with the Rise of the Creative podcast.
And guys, we are back with another one.
Another one.
We got a very interesting, very interesting podcast for you today.
I feel like it needs to be said. That's because that's what the conversation is. I don't know how your feed is, but mine is all healing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's based upon... This is interesting, and I'll say this, and then we'll proceed with the podcast. I think your feed.
Oh my God!
Your feed is a direct reflection of how you're feeling in the moment.
That's a little scary.
No, but it's real. It's real talk.
You know how many horror movies they make off of the influence of technology on us?
No. So here, I think you're thinking too literally. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think. What I mean is, depending on, like, say for instance, this is a perfect example. Right now, the type of job that I'm working in is very technical. So I saw something that had to do with Excel spreadsheets, and I liked it, and I actually saved it. I'm like, I can use this. And then
instead of showing you a whole bunch of other tech stuff,
bunch of tech posts. So that's what I'm saying. It's what's on your feed is a representation of what's going on in your life right now, or how you're feeling, you know?
Yes.
So,
yes.
But anyway, we've already, within the first 10 seconds of the show starting, gone into a tangent.
These niggas got ADD.
Yes. But anyway, we have an amazing show for you today called Creating Your Boundaries.
Ooh,
discussing we're discussing how to create limits within relationships.
Creatively.
Of course. I mean, that's a given. This is the Rise of the Creative podcast. You know what I mean? But before we get into it, we got a creative quote of the day, and I will read it to spare Ashley the shame of reading in front of people. But anyway, we change our behavior when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of changing. Consequences give us the pain that motivates us to change. That's Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. John Townsend. This is the first time I've ever heard of two people.
Right? Like, how do they collab on a quote?
On a quote. Yeah, that's fire. That's so fire.
I always find the quote and then, let me give the person their credit.
Right. Yeah, it's.
And then I realized it was two people.
That's different. That's the first time we've seen it. But yeah, no, let's get into it. What are some healthy?
So sorry.
Nah, you see, that's a boundary. That we gotta talk about.
When a nigga learn a new word. I really thought I had that on silent.
Vibrate.
So sorry.
Do not disturb. Let me tell you, this feature, this focus feature,
I need it. I never implemented it on my phone.
I put it on by accident.
The Bronx.
That's fine. I put it on by accident, and now it's like.
Would it don't let you touch your phone while you
Not that it doesn't. It lets nothing come in. It doesn't even vibrate. It's like your phone is a brick. Then when you open it, you're like, God, they had missed calls and everything.
Oh, I need that.
Yeah, it's very good.
That.
Very good. That's a way how you can create a boundary.
That is
when
not.
No, I'm serious. When you focusing on your work, you create a boundary from yourself and your phone, and by your phone you mean outside distractions. That's a boundary. We're gonna get into it. What are some healthy coping mechanisms that you can set in place? I feel like that's one.
Yes, you know
like
what?
Setting up the
You know, who am I to judge your boundary? You're absolutely
right. Setting up a focus time.
You're absolutely
on your phone so that you can get your work done.
My boundary normally comes with, because I don't really care about me focusing on nothing, honestly, truly.
Okay.
My boundary comes with people.
Okay.
And with like interactions in my relationships with people, because that's how we're discussing.
Yeah.
That's what we're discussing.
No,
lost my train of thought.
No, but here it is. No, I get it. And so I'm going to go back to what I was saying about the phone thing. That's the way how you can,
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's good. That's the way how we can, how would you say it? Create boundaries. Create boundaries with people by, I don't want to say only interacting with them when you can, but.
No, but like if you got a situation and you have the emotional maturity to understand, like, this is going to tick me off, or this is going to get me upset.
Yeah.
To like step back from the situation and be like, let me calm down, because I don't want to stress. I don't want to, get above myself or get to that person's level. You have to like create a boundary, because at some point you got to be like, I'm tired of acting like this, or I'm tired of letting people get me to this point.
Agreed.
So you got to like create that personal boundary. Like, nah, I'm not. Let me process this myself.
I agree.
Because if you meet people at their level all the time, you're gonna stay at their level.
I agree, but that takes time. Not to keep going back to the whole focus thing, but a lot of the times when you in it, here it is. This is a perfect example, and I don't know why I keep bringing it back to the phone, but sometimes when I'm on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, I'm in my phone for hours, 2 hours at a time, and you don't even realize it. And it's the same thing with relationships, creative relationships that you in. It's just like, damn, sometimes you need to take a step back from it to really analyze it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, I think that was a very cool analogy. I wasn't even planned or anything like that.
Right.
But since we're talking about boundaries, what does setting a boundary mean?
I think setting a boundary just basically means saying no to someone else and yes to yourself. Like choosing yourself, and whatever that means, whatever it's emotional or a physical boundary, like, no, I don't really like hugs, or I don't like, whatever it is.
Right.
Whatever you say yes to yourself is.
Yeah.
Without having to compromise anything about yourself.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think having a boundary or setting boundaries, and I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, but having boundaries means that you are taking full accountability for yourself. Mm-hmm. You're telling people like, hey, listen, this doesn't make me feel comfortable, or I'm not I'm not available for this, or I'm not doing that. And it's the way how it manifests itself. Sometimes people may think like, oh, you're selfish or whatever, but at the end of the day,
yes,
of course. But at the end of the day, it's like, if I'm not gonna be looking out for myself, who's gonna be looking out for me? You know what I mean? So I think setting boundaries just means number one, being self-aware, because you have to, I think having a boundary starts.
That's where it starts at, though. You have to understand, like, I don't want to use the word trigger, but you have to like understand your triggers and like, I don't like when this happens. When this happens, I don't like when this happens. How can I change that within myself? Mm-hmm. You know what? If I stop it here, if I cut it off here, I won't even have to get to this point. And once you start implementing that, and once you start dealing with like, oh, nah, I'm not dealing with this. Like, I'm not dealing with this. Like, the weight that comes off of your shoulder. Yeah. That's why I say you have to have like a little bit of an emotional maturity to even realize like, this is not working for me. Yeah. Like, I don't like this. Yeah. Whether it's within yourself, like it's something that you do that you want to change, or something how people react to how you react. Facts. Once you like, you know what? I don't like this. I don't like where this is leading. And you can fix that in yourself. Powerful.
I love it. I want to pivot just a little bit. Not even a pivot, but I just want to take some time to focus more so on creatives. So we have a question. The question is, what can boundaries look like as a creative? And I have two prime examples, and actually you can chime in. I'll speak about the most recent one. I was listening to 2 of Pusha T's interviews. He just released an album called It's Almost Dry. Amazing album. Obviously he's a supreme lyricist. But obviously when he was doing his little radio run, everyone kept asking him like, oh, would you ever do a song with Drake? No. Would you shake hands with him? No. He's like, oh, so you got beef with him? He's like, not really. That's just not the type of time that I'm on. And I realized that it was a boundary for him, and it wasn't anything. It wasn't anything. Now, granted, it may be some personal things attached to that, but that was his boundary, and he was firm on it. And I feel like that's something else. People
take that as like, oh, you're not complying with, you're not doing this. No, I don't like that, without having to say, I don't like that.
Exactly. And that's something that us as creatives, we can look at is, he stood firm and proud on his boundary.
No matter what people say.
No matter what people say. And he even said that. He was like, if anybody ever comes to me talking like, oh, I should be doing this, they're not friends to me. So it's just like, So it reinforced this. And then also, lastly, when Lotto, the rapper, the female rapper, she dropped her album, and she was speaking about an artist that she had on a feature. I won't say his name, but they were pretty much saying like, "Oh, I'll give you the feature, but like we gotta have sex." And it was just like, she said that was a hard no. Like, he still did the feature, and she still loves the song, but that was a boundary that she couldn't cross.
Oh yeah.
And
that's not so much a burn. That's a brick wall. Like,
of course. And I think just my respect for her as an artist, and also just as a creative, and just obviously, you know, her as a woman, it just made me look at her with even more. I was just proud of her in that moment, because she stood strong on her boundary, and she didn't. She stood. Well, at least she said it. I'm not trying to say that she didn't do it, but, you know, obviously I don't know her personally no, seriously, I don't know her personally to say what truly happened, but not. And
you gonna edit all this out? It's cool.
I'm not gonna edit out. I'm leaving it just like this. It's not. I don't want to. I don't want to, you know, misplace, because some people are like, oh well, do you know what Lotto really be doing? But like, I don't know her like that. I don't know her like that. So
nobody can say what anybody do for how they get their money.
That's a fact. But, but yeah, no.
For every denial, he got a couple yeses.
Very true. That's what she said. She was like, oh well, you know, all of my female. That's what he said. He was like, all of my female artists that I work with,
that's disgusting. And he said that out loud.
And he said he said it. He said it to Lotto, and Lotto said it out loud.
Oh, okay.
But Lotto didn't say his name, but it was implied. Everyone.
Who was implied for?
I don't want to say it on the podcast. I'll tell you. Okay. I'll tell you back.
Because I'm like, I didn't know that. I heard about the situation, but I didn't know that.
But yeah, it's you know, I feel like that's what a boundary looks like, you know, for a creative. And I even think just making it practical for us creatives here, I think it's saying no to opportunities that don't serve you. Right. Saying no to opportunities that don't want to pay you. That's a big one. Saying I don't, or not saying, but not feeling. Ooh, this is a big one. Not feeling bad about saying no to opportunities that don't serve you, because that's a real thing.
I'm laughing at the quickening you got in your spirit.
This is real. This is real. Because a lot of the times, us as creatives, we're like, you know what? I want to take every opportunity that comes our way. And it's just like, sometimes you got to think, like, does this make sense for me as a creative? Does it serve me, or does it serve the other person?
You took my whole answer.
I'm so sorry. I apologize, but this is
Speak your truth, brother.
Yeah. This is a very good topic. And I think it's all about, you know, self-awareness first, understanding who you are, what are the things that don't feel right to you, what are the things that feel right to you. Who you want to be
as an artist,
exactly,
or a creative, like
exactly.
What is your bio reading?
Right. Like no, seriously, you're laughing.
You're right. Like right. What's your resume reading? Right. For speak it into existence.
Right.
What is your resume reading? I feel like a creative boundary a creative boundary is cutting off people where they're committed to misunderstanding you.
Ooh, come on, you about to open up another can of worms.
Speak a big dream to a small-minded person?
Come on now.
Not small-minded, like they just not creatively on your level, or even y'all just not on the same vibe. Y'all not on the same type of time. You don't even gotta be all that deep. Y'all just not on the same type of time.
Facts.
And they speak doubt into it.
No.
And sometimes it's not hate. Oh no, hate and shit. It's just out of like, I love you so much. I want to protect you. I want to tell you all the cons too. And you like, I didn't want to hear why this is not going to work. I want you to tell me how it could work. Join me. Come on. Let's do this together.
Right.
Or even just support me. Like, wow, that sounds amazing. No matter how wild and outlandish it may sound, because you don't know what you're feeding into when you're talking to somebody, especially somebody you know in a creative space.
Yeah. And oh man.
You have to like positively talk to anybody. I get so tired of always hearing like, oh, she got a little business. Oh, she do this and she, yes, she putting slashes behind her name. She's a photographer and a this and a that. Yes, yes. She is doing with her heart desires, and I've always committed to saying, I love the passion in people. Oh, yeah. I love seeing when somebody is just them. Like, this is who I am. I love to see people go after what they want to do. Or those kids that be like, oh, I want to be a firefighter. And they really grow up and become a firefighter. Like, they ain't have nothing else on their agenda. I find that so fascinating. So when I hear somebody like, oh, she started a sock business. Yes, let me get 2 pairs. Right. Like, I want to be on that time. Like, I don't want to be, oh, she sell lip gloss? Cool, sis, let me get some.
Yeah, and I think, just to your point, I think that starts with creating that boundary, you know?
Yeah.
That boundary that says, I'm not going to let any negativity or any negative thoughts around my entrepreneurial or creative.
Because you really have to program your head, like program your way of thinking. Like, don't talk to yourself beautifully. Yes, that's speaking life into yourself, and that reprogramming your brain to, and it'll be the little things like, girl, you know you shouldn't be eating that. Why you have to say it like that? It's like literally how you're talking to yourself. It's like it's reprogramming your brain to be productive, and you're gonna see the output so much easier, and you're gonna see it like, wow, like my week went by beautifully. I wasn't upset. I didn't wake up mad and tired, or my back didn't hurt, or if it did hurt, it's because, you know what, I was sitting at my job that I get paid to do nothing at. You know, like it was all that stuff starts to become blessings. All the stuff you used to complain about is going to start looking like the blessings you used to pray for.
All because of that boundary that you set.
Bring it back home.
No, real talk. No, because
like,
you're talking.
I was going over the tangent. Bring it back home.
Of course. And this is the last thing I'll say before we ask our last question. Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. He said something very, very, very powerful during one of his interviews. He was just like, you know, because people would always ask him, like, you know, what, not what inspires you, but what causes you to be so locked in on your goals or whatever. And, you know, he brought up the instance of his training. You know, he used to wake up every day, I believe 5 or 6 o'clock or something like that, and train every day religiously. And, you know, the reason why he did that is because he said that he made a contract with himself. And he was just like, there's going to be some days where I don't feel like it, but I made a contract to myself at the beginning of the summer that I'm going to get up every day and work on this part of my game. Ooh. So I think how to bring it back home is us as creatives, we gotta start setting our boundaries, and we gotta sit on that shit, man. Like, that sounded funny, but you know, we gotta, you know, stand firm on our boundaries and stay strong on the commitments that we make to ourselves. And realistically, I think creating those boundaries can help you heal past traumas. So I guess you want to speak about that last point. How can creating boundaries heal past traumas?
I think you said it.
Right?
I'm like,
right?
What?
Like, I and once again, I apologize. I feel like I'm stealing all your answers, even though we didn't truly like go over this, but I feel like it was good enough for us to really kind of just go off, because I feel like creating boundaries is something that us as creatives, we all struggle with. You know what I mean? Oh yeah,
because you can't be everything to everyone, nothing to yourself.
Come on now.
And that's a boundary. Like, self-care is not just putting on a face mask and, you know, deep conditioning. Yes, that is it too, but it is internally working on yourself constantly, constantly growing. I hate to see people that like mentally are the same place where I left them 5 years ago.
Right.
Like, you still there. No, I'm in 2022. I'm trying. No.
Facts.
We need to grow together. And that's the type of time I'm on now.
Well, with that being said, I'm going to create a boundary right here and we're going to end this episode. My fault, sorry. Ashley, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on my Instagram at ash_slays, ASH_SLAYSS. Help my little reel go viral.
Got it. You can find me on Instagram at Winston Ward Music. You can also follow the podcast at Raza the Creative NYC. Tune into everything that we got going on, Spotify, YouTube, every place. Thank you so much for listening. Please start creating boundaries and staying firm on them.
Word.
And we're going to check and make sure that you do it. Now, but thank you guys for listening. We out. Stay creative. No, you got something else to say?
No, go ahead. We done.
We done? Okay.
We out.
All right, we out.
Of the creator.
Wait. What about now?
All right. Maybe the next show.